Okay, here we have the data that's on page 471. Here are 3 hotels: Golden Palm, Palm Princess, Palm Royale, Palm Princess, and whether or not you're going to choose again, yes, no, total. And these are our expected frequencies. Now, if the totals aren't given, the first thing you want to do is make a totals column. So let's do totals. And here this would be equals SU sum, double-click sum, and add these across 513, and then you can just drag this on down. Now, let's get our expected frequencies. What that's going to be is the overall proportion for the yes, which is 513 divided by 700, and that's multiplied by the total for Golden Palm. And then we're going to get no, we're going to drag it down to get the no, which would be 187 divided by the total multiplied by the total for Golden Palm. If that seems a little bit too much to remember, let's kind of break it down. So let's start with equals. Now we want this number divided by this number, but we're going to be dragging here. We want to keep this number in column F. So tell it stay in column F, and it happens to be in row 3. Now we're going to divide it by this number. And eventually we're going to be dragging to the right. So we have to totally anchor this number. It not only has to stay in column F, but it also has to stay in row 5. So this number divided by this number, now it's going to be multiplied by the total. And we're going to be moving this way, dragging this way. So we want to keep it in row 5. So this is multiplied by B. We don't want it to stay in column B because we're going to be going this way, but we do want it to stay in row 5. So stay in row 5. And there it is. So again, stay in column F divided by this number, which we want to totally anchor, stay in column F and in row 5. Multiply that by this number, but since we're dragging this way, we want it to stay in row 5. Now drag this down, and now drag it across. And here are all your expected frequencies, and these are shown rounded to 2 decimal places on page 472. Now, to calculate chi-square, that's going to be the expected minus the observed squared over the expected. So expected would be this minus this, close your parenthesis, square it. Let me do this again where I make it a little bit smaller so you can see the whole thing. Well, maybe it's not going to go down any smaller. Okay, let me just tell you that this is the yes, and this is the no for the expected frequency. And I think I'll delete this. And let's do our chi-square over here, maybe. Chi-square. Now, it's the expected minus the observed squared divided by the expected. And we're going to drag down and drag across. So nothing really has to stay anchored here. So this is equals, parenthesis, here's the expected, minus the observed, close your parenthesis and square it, and now divide by the expected. Okay, now we're going to drag this down, whoops, and now drag it across. Oops, that's not working. There we go. These are all our calculations for expected minus the observed squared divided by the expected. All we have to do now is add that up. So do equals SU, double click on sum, and now highlight the whole thing. And there it is. That's our calculated chi-squared, just as it says in the book on page, whatever that is. I don't see the page right now. Well, trust me, it should, oh yeah, here it is. Bottom of page 472, it tells you that, well, it says observed minus expected, and I did expected minus observed. It really doesn't matter because you're squaring it, but what does matter is that you divide it by the expected. And here's your calculated chi-square.